Hello everyone, it's James from Living Gardens Homestead. We're here today. We're going to show you how to overwinter your peppers. And this is one that we've already prepared and we've got it ready. If you'll notice, I left nodes here, 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 here. Now these nodes, and there's also nodes down here on the trunk of it. But each one of these nodes, it looks like it's cut up dead and everything else, but what it is, it's ready to hibernate. And over winter, this will kind of slowly, it'll stay alive, and because the daylight hours are so short, and these is a hot climate, peppers are for hot climates and a lot of sunshine, so if it don't get enough, it just kind of sits there. And when spring comes, the daylight hours get longer, it'll start growing again. And the next year, it'll produce more peppers than it did this year because you got a head start on it. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix your plants and get them ready to hibernate them. And anyway, we've done it. We've done it in the past. It works. You can either put it in a pot big enough so that next year all you got to do is get it out and get it used to outside, and then start growing it in your pot. Or you can put it in smaller pots to where next year when season comes, it's time to plant, you can just take it out of the pot and plant it in your garden. But anyway, it's a good way of overwintering your plants and getting a head start on the following year. See, pepper plants, it takes almost all summer for them to grow big enough to start producing peppers. And then in the fall, you usually get peppers, but the season's about over with. But this way, you can get peppers throughout the summer. Anyway, watch the video. I hope you like it. I'm just trying to give you all the information I can and to overwinter your peppers. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, we start here by taking all of the fruit off the pepper plant. This is a jalapeno plant, and we're going to save it for next year. But I'm going to show you the process here. First, you got to take all your leaves off, and then you take all the peppers off your plant. You don't want anything on there, and it looks like we're going to butcher the plant, but believe me, it'll come back next year most of the time. But this is the process we use in overwintering our pepper plants. And the reason why is because pepper plants, when you start them in the spring, it takes them almost all summer, and then they'll finally start producing toward the fall, and you'll get a crop off of them, but your major crop is going to come from the following year. That's after you've overwintered your plants and you replant them out the next spring. You will get far more peppers than you did the first year. But anyway, this video is to show you how to overwinter those pepper plants. And this is the way we do it. And we get done getting the peppers off this plant here, we'll show you the next process. Okay, now we're going to start cutting back on our plant. It's going to look like we're butchering it, but we're not butchering it. We're cutting it back to some nodes. And wherever these nodes are is where new growth will come from next year. And as you'll notice, I missed a pepper. And anyway, on this plant, I'm taking off the bottom leaves and that are down next to the bottom, and any stems sticking out or anything, I'm taking those off. Now I've got one limb coming out from down in the dirt. It looks like a separate plant, but it comes off the same plant. I don't want that on there, so I'm going to cut that one off. So I'll get rid of that one. Then I'm going to come up to the forks there of the plant, and I'm going to look up to the next set of forks above that. So you got where it comes up and splits. So I'm going to go up one of those and see where it splits. Then I'm going to look at the nodes there where branches are going to form, and I cut it off above those nodes. And I do that on both branches. I'll take it off above the nodes, and I'll leave just them. You'll come up to a branch, and then it'll branch off from that branch, and I cut off up above them. That way, them nodes can come loose or grow out next year when I start the plant back, and it'll be uniform. You'll have it'll be a pretty uniform plant when it starts to grow out. But anyway, here's what we do when we're trimming the plant back, and I'll let you watch that. Now we just dig it up, get the roots, and we will plant it. And now we're going to show you how to pot this and keep it for the winter. We're almost done. We'll take these roots, and it doesn't matter if you get all the roots. Just do the best you can. And you want to put it in a smaller size pot, because we're not going to leave it in the spring in this pot unless you want to. We'll replant it back in the garden, but you can leave it in the pot if you want to, so use you a big enough pot for your plant. But we put it in a small pot, that way we can make it through the winter, and then we'll take it out and we'll plant it back in the garden. But what I do is I just put it in a planter and fill it up with my Pro Mix potting soil, and I'll fill it to the top. And we'll get it about the same place it was on the plant that was in the garden when it was in the garden, the soil up to about the same level. And then we'll just water it down real good and soak it pretty much. And then we'll find us a cool place in the house, and where it gets anywhere from maybe 4 hours, 6 hours of daylight that shines through a window or something like that, and we'll let it sit there. It'll hibernate through the winter, but don't never let it get below 40 degrees on the plant itself, because if it freezes, it'll die. So you don't want it to freeze. But anyway, just a decent place next to a windowsill or whatever. And don't worry, you may get some. It may try to grow some, but it's going to be slow where it doesn't get a whole lot of light through the winter time. Winter time's shorter daylight time. But then when the danger of frost and stuff's gone, the soil's warmed up enough in the spring, you can take it right out of that pot and put it right in the garden, and it'll take off, and you'll have more peppers than you did this year. Because pepper plants can go more than 1 year growing. But anyway, this is the way we do it, and when we've done it before and it works, and I'm sure we'll do it again and it'll work. But I'm trying to figure out a way to do a whole roll out of my garden without having a bunch of pots, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But anyway, you do this and you'll overwinter your pepper plants, and you will have good peppers next year. So This is James from Living Gardens Homestead. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. We hope you've learned something, and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and share it with your social media and to your friends. And thanks a lot from Living Gardens Homestead.